Hello, everybody. Adam Parks here with another episode of Receivables Roundtable. Today, I am here with Nick, who was the RMAI Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Scholarship winner from 2022. Got a chance to come out to the RMAI conference and experience the industry in a new way. How you doing today, Nick?
I'm doing very well, Adam. Thank you.
Absolutely. For anybody who didn't have the opportunity to meet you at the conference, which I luckily did, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got to the seat that you're in today?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Nick Demore. I currently work for Keith D. Weiner and Associates. I got into this chair today by a couple of chances that were given to me when I was a very young person. I went to college, did the whole normal thing. It didn't really work out for me necessarily, and I had to come back home. And a pretty large law firm in the area took a chance on a kid with absolutely no experience. And I was able to work with that firm and continuously grow. And I did eventually leave that firm, but the chances that were given to me when I was young really, really impacted my life.
Absolutely. And so, can you tell everybody a little bit about the firm that you're working for now and what you guys do there?
Sure. Keith D. Weiner and Associates. We're a creditors' rights law firm specializing in retail collections, credit cards, those types of things. We specialize in an auto deficiency market. We also have a bankruptcy practice, as well as a foreclosure practice and a litigation practice. My current role here is the client services or client relations manager, working with all the other outlier departments and things like that, facilitating relationships with our clients.
That's awesome, which also would bring incredible value having the opportunity to go to the RMAI annual conference because you probably got to meet a lot of people that you have already been interacting with.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the major takeaways or major things that it was great for me at the conference was that in my role, especially in a legal type role, um, you know, I spend my entire week or month preparing the partners and the attorneys and things to go to these conferences, not knowing anything what's happening there. So I always assumed that it was just them going to Las Vegas, partying it up, meeting all these people, hanging out, and going there and seeing what actually happens. That it's extremely structured. There's lots of things to do. You're expected to be a million places. Everyone's trying to talk to you. It's definitely not so much a vacation as I had thought it was my entire life, and it's definitely something that they benefit from quite a lot.
What a true statement. I think until you've had the chance of actually experiencing it, it sounds like a giant party. Like, hey, everybody's going to go party in Las Vegas for a week, not thinking about the fact that we're in structured meetings every half hour from 7 o'clock in the morning until probably 6 o'clock. Might get a chance to have some dinner, then meet with some clients, after dinner for a few minutes, and then hopefully get to bed at a reasonable time so that I can be up by 7 o'clock in the morning doing those meetings again the next day.
Absolutely, yeah. It was definitely a 7 to 9, 10 p.m. type thing. And then, but you're in Vegas, so you kind of want to do some cool things and, get around. But yeah, you're definitely in the conference. And it's not all bad. I mean, it's definitely cool because you do get to see and go to the sessions and learn so much and meet all these people in your industry. But it really is an experience that is structured.
It is agreed. It is a very structured environment being at the conference and RMAI's annual conference being such a big conference. You're talking 1,200 plus people there. I'm sure it's a little bit overwhelming walking through the door for the first time. I mean, I think this was my 17th consecutive annual conference, so I'm a little bit more seasoned, I think, than some. What was that feeling like walking into a conference of that size and a trade show exhibit hall of that size?
It was very interesting. I expected it to be a lot smaller. I've never been to Vegas before, which was another cool thing that I got to do because of this. But I didn't realize that everything in Vegas is enormous. So when I walked into the hotel, I was like, this is the biggest place I've ever been in my entire life. There's so many people here. But the coolest thing about that is that as soon as you kind of get into it, you really do see these amazing relationships that these people have. So like, I was with Cindy, who's one of my principals here at the firm, and she's just like, hey, 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 and constantly talking and then introducing me. So it's a lot out the gate, but definitely, got to meet so many different people, got to, have conversations, meaningful conversations with people that I had never met and will probably actually reach out to for assistance or, help in the years to come.
And Cindy's definitely a rock star. I know she was the one that introduced us at the conference and, made sure that we got at least a couple of minutes to connect and chat as we were running, I think, in between sessions at that point in time. Now, as kind of the first person who's gone through this process with RMAI and been awarded this, opportunity, what advice would you have for kind of the next person coming in? What did you learn from the experience that you might be able to pass on to the next person?
I would probably recommend or kind of push them to kind of push their personal boundaries and kind of get outside of their normal box. So I'm a relatively introverted person. My role is quite outward facing at my firm, but in a personal life, I'm very quiet. I'm very timid. Those types of things, and you really can't gain too much from the conference if you're not willing to come out of your comfort zone, speak to strangers, no stranger danger, just go up to people and just start, talking to them. And that's where you're going to find these relationships. You're going to talk to people that are completely have a different outlook on, their industry. They could be somebody that, is involved with our industry, but I had no idea what they did or how it even fit into the whole realm of our industry. So it's a very, that I would just tell them to talk to everyone. Anytime you think you're talking too much, go to talk to somebody else. If somebody looks like they're bored of you, just move on. They'll just, you just keep talking. There's so many things set up by the RMAI, so you're constantly networking, and everyone's in the same kind of frame of mind. So like, the first attendees luncheon or the breakfast, I think it was a great experience because we got sat with somebody from the RMAI and they kind of explained who you guys were, what you guys do. And then everyone was just inquisitive, just talking, just sitting there and just kind of, saying who we are, what we do. And, oh, that's an interesting type job, and just kind of making all these conversations.
I like that. I mean, having the RMA plug you in with individuals that are already in the know and can help to introduce you around. I know, again, Cindy's, in your firm is a social butterfly and knows just about everybody, but being able to experience it with different people, I'm sure is helpful as well, because you get a little bit more undivided attention from some really key people. And if I remember the list from last year, you had the chance to spend time with some really key people from around the industry with different perspectives.
Famous people. Everyone, I did feel like I was being toted around with a couple of celebs like Kelly and Manny. So it was really an awesome experience to talk to these people that would never see me, as a behind the scenes type person, in my normal career. Visibility is huge, especially with this scholarship. So, getting the visibility, not only do I get to meet them, but they also get to meet me, somebody who works very closely behind the scenes, but not necessarily forward facing.
So even beyond kind of the social aspects of it, did you get value from the actual conference education sessions?
It did. Yeah. So I attended a decent amount of them, those which were required and those required of our firm to be certified, or individuals to be certified, and then other ones with Cindy or Tom or Keith in my office. And yeah, they're not boring, which is something, like that you see a lot with legal type conferences or webinars and things like that. They weren't boring, they were engaging, the people were funny. A lot of the content of those types of, sessions can be somewhat, just reading the facts, new updates in the laws, things that aren't necessarily that interesting, but they made them fun, and it was a really neat experience to be able to see, the bankruptcy one and the auto one, and then the financial ones and all those things. It was really, yeah, I did learn a lot.
That's awesome. And now that you've been through the process and you've had this opportunity, you've engaged with the organization. how are you, how has that changed your relationship with the industry? So are you now more involved in the association itself? Like you've kind of seen that opportunity and are grasping it?
Yeah, so I was after my scholarship and writing the piece afterwards. They had asked me to serve on the DE&I task force now,
Mhm.
which is it's a cool thing because not too many times in your career will you get to do something at work that is related to your work, but not necessarily the work. So
Mhm.
it's neat to have an extra aspect of me being in this industry, not just working at my firm. So now I do feel as though I'm a part of the industry more so than I did before, for sure.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's the entire purpose, right? Is to get more people engaged, more people involved, and to provide more opportunities. We started doing the regional events a couple of years ago for the same purpose, to give more people an opportunity to come to some sort of an industry event that normally did not have that opportunity, which is why it moves around the country,
Mhm.
and so that more people have an opportunity to go to it. It's been really great chatting with you today, Nick. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience about the scholarship, the program, or any final words of wisdom?
Yeah, I would like to urge, I'll do the typical plug thing, but I really do urge all of the managers and leadership, of the various industries and companies that we work with, to look for people in your organization that would fit these, criteria and that would fit, this scholarship. You don't really realize, from the top down, how beneficial these things can be, and how it could be as simple as them never being able to be on a plane before, or them never being included. That's the whole inclusive part, is to get these people involved. So if you see people that are emerging leaders, or you see people in your organization that you think might benefit from this, push them to go ahead and apply.
Awesome. Well, great words of wisdom. I really appreciate that. I look, I think it's a great program altogether. And I think the more people that we can have engaged in the association from the various organizations that are members, the more value we can ultimately provide to the entire industry. For those of you that are watching, if you have any additional questions that you'd like to ask Nick and I, you can leave them in the comments below, both here on LinkedIn and YouTube. We'll be happy to respond to those. Or if you'd like to have any additional topics that you'd like to see us discuss, you can leave those in the comments below as well. And I'm sure Nick would be happy to come back and chat with me again, or at least I hope so.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. I love getting away from my job.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I hope I have the opportunity to see you again at an event in the future. It's great to be serving on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force with the Receivables Management Association International with you, and looking forward to our continued engagement.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Adam.
Awesome. For those of you that are watching, thanks so much. We'll see you again soon.